Okay. What's up, Dax? Oh, shit. What's up, Rose? Welcome back. Dax, how's your evening going? How, buddy? Oh, nice. Who's playing? Is it a big game? Small game? Medium game? Local? What is it? Mammoth versus Golden Knights. That sounds like one of my Warhammer games, dude. Some cool names. But right on. Hope you have a good time. What's up, Lily? What's up, guys? Welcome in. Just doing a little airbrushing. Reintroducing some of these shadows that kind of got washed out in the highlight. Oh man, welcome in everyone. What's up, Roberto? Thanks for liking. How you doing today? Oh, thank you for following. I appreciate that. You into Warhammer? Oh, thank you for the rose. Thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate that a lot. You are helping me be able to afford a DSLR camera, hopefully, and improve the quality of the stream. So I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Oofda. That was way too much. It's wanting to splatter on me now. I had too much liquid. That's okay. That's good enough. The rest we can hand paint. Just trying to get those values locked in, you know? What's up, Rodrigo? How you doing? Welcome in, everyone. Starting on 40K, watching videos and learning how to paint. Right on. What models are you doing? I can hopefully help guide you to where you want to be. And also let me know if the music's too loud or if I'm too quiet or the mic's shitty, whatever, you know. But yeah, let me be your guide in this 40K wild universe. Sweet. Yeah, what army did you end up going with? You don't know yet? Let's do a couple quizzes. Do you have any ideas on who you're kind of leaning towards from all your research, or do you want to just, I'll quiz you and guide you to where you want to be on your playstyle and the rule of cool? I guess the first question is, what do you think the coolest army is? And why? Tyranids, nice. What's nice about Tyranids is you can kind of play them however you want. There's a bunch of different play styles. You can go like big monsters. You can kind of go elite units. You can go deep strike. You can go horde. You know, just a ton of models. So the nice thing about Tyranids is you really can't mess up. You can play them however you want. Which is pretty neat. Not many armies are like that. Some of the armies you have to play them a certain style. Would you rather be defensive, aggressive, a lot of models, a few but really cool big models? What's your flavor? Whoops, my... What's up, Shinivari? Sorry. I just saw your messages. Forgive me. I didn't have my chat pulled up. I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I hope you'll forgive me. I like to play like a rogue hiding in that shit, so I don't know yet. Well, there's a couple armies like that. The Eldar are very good at kind of popping in and popping out. They're kind of glass cannons. So if you're into like sneak attack dice, that's kind of the flavor there. Doing surgical hits. If you're looking at Space Marines, the Raven Guard play with a lot of stealth mechanics as well. So you can do like hit and run tactics with them as well. I'm not sure if the Raven Guard do have a lot of units with lone operative, which allow you to play like a lot of characters where they chill. You can't target them unless you're within 12 inches kind of deal. If you like hitting like that, or if you... The problem with the current state of, not maybe the problem, but just the feature is objectives. So no matter what you do have to, you can't be a total rogue, you know, but there is a lot of like stealth mechanics. There's sniping units in almost all of the different factions as well. The ones to steer clear of is probably orcs. Orcs are like really in your face. If that's your kind of play style. For sure. Yeah, but Tyranids definitely will get you somewhere where you want to be. There's so many different Tyranid like play styles you can do. So if that's the rule of cool, by the way, go with what your gut's telling you is the coolest, right? You can learn the play style, but the rule of cool is so important. Yeah, you have a good one too, buddy. Thanks for dropping by. I wish you good luck on your Warhammer ventures, my dude. And thank you for the rose and the likes. What's up, Chuck? What's up, Andrew? Welcome in, buddy. What's up, guys? Welcome in. What's up, Wiener Dog? It's a dope name. I think I should have this guy just in the somewhat in the picture here. There we go. Have him chilling here. What's up, guys? Welcome in. Welcome to the party. Currently just working on blocking in the colors on these little mini gargants to match big guy over here. Oh, thank you for liking. Appreciate that. So yeah, I'm just blocking in all these colors. Eventually, we're gonna do an oil wash on them like we've done all the others, and then we'll move on to doing the highlights and whatnot. We'll do kind of go back and forth there, probably add some colors and whatnot with our contrast paints. Then we'll move in. I'm really enjoying these Vallejo paints I got going on right now. They're wonderful. Shinivari, I know that you chatted, but I didn't say hi. I'm sorry. If you're still here, I did see your chat. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Welcome in, guys. Oh, thank you for the follow. How you doing, Oscar? What's up, Allie? How you doing today? I meant to call you earlier. Oh yeah, finally moving on to a new one. Yeah? Another rough day, kiddo? Ooh. Thank you, Allie. I appreciate that. Some heart pokes. Making my day better. Feel like I'm not doing anything to help your day, though. Yeah, I'm trying to get these guys done. I'm going to try and do them fast this time. You know? Faster than the last ones, at least. At the very least. At the very least, a little speed. You know? Oop, shit. I'll put big boy there. Might spark some conversation. Thanks for liking, Al. What's up, guys? Welcome in. We're just working on these mini gargants. We're going to try and paint them in just like we did the big boy here. Going to try and speed paint them, though. Then we're going to do some basing, hopefully, later this week. Finally get this army tabletop ready, you know? Welcome back, Asylum Seer. It's great seeing you. How you been? The prodigal son returns. Great seeing you, man. I've been good. A little sore and tired, but good. How are you? I'm great. I'm better now that you're here. You know? Why are you sore? In the gym? Work? Getting older? All valid reasons. What's up, Warhammer Painter? Thanks for liking. Welcome in. Oh, thank you for sharing the live. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. Doing pretty good. You know? And thank you. I appreciate that. I'm always at my happiest when I'm sitting here chilling with you guys, talking about miniatures and painting and getting some work done, turning gray into something interesting, you know? So I'm great. Thank you for asking. I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing? Bees do good? Bees do good, dude. Get ready to work on some models. Nice. I think it's everyone's happy place. I think that's why a lot of us are interested in the hobby and we stick to it. Ooh. Thanks for the gifts. Oof Alley with the heart me's and the roses and the heart puffs and the cat. The kitty cat. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that, Al. Yeah, I'm doing some batch painting too, although I think what I'm going to end up doing is just spending way too much time on each one of them. So it's not even going to be like batch painting. What you batch painting? Just sprayed over my Def Kappas. I hated them. Oh no. You did? I'm sorry. Well, what can I do to make you not hate them? What can we do? What went wrong? What happened? Too far gone to save, unfortunately? They had to take the primer bath. Working on some Tyramid Termagants and to break it up, some Barbagants. Nice, dude. Yeah, those Termagants, if you don't break them up, they can suck your soul out. I once did 30 Poxwalkers in a row, and boy, I was pretty sick of painting my Death Guard by the end of the sesh. Been getting ready for work. Oh no. Getting ready for work. Well, I'm glad that I can be a little peace before the storm. You know? It looked cheap with the primer I used too. It was an ugly green color, but printing some pirates now. Nice! Dude, pirate orcs are the best orcs. You can't tell me anything different. Yeah, and a good primer sets the whole tone, you know? I have 70 Termagants. Oh. Then 10 Barbagants. Oh, Man, 70. That is, I wish you luck on your journey, brother. Hopefully your paint scheme isn't too overwhelming, you know? My one friend did the crab shell, and he did like 30 or 40, and he hated it. He was not a happy camper. I've done 14 and 2 so far. Nice. I'm an orc player, but don't use boys because I hate batch painting. Yeah. What do you use then? Do you do a lot of Coptas? And they're big guys? They're mechs and whatnot? I don't understand what that means, but I'm intrigued in learning. I'm intrigued in teaching. Killicons? Nice. It's got to be a sick army. I haven't done orcs yet. I do want to do an orc team. At least 1,000 points of orcs would be really fun. But I almost just want to do nothing but Coptas, you know? That would make me so happy. Someone comes to the table and I just got 15 Coptas. Honestly, my color scheme is still WIP, work in progress. So far, it's just white base and Makraj blue carapace. Nice. That sounds really cool. Are they they're going to be like almost ice themed, it sounds like. Is this a specific game or like D&D where you just make up as you go? So this is Warhammer 40K. So in the game, they release model kits, right? And there's like, I don't know, 10 or 15 different armies you can play from. And so these are just different factions of the game. So when you build an army, it'll be like between 20 to 300 models, depending on what you want to do for a standard size game. But yeah. And instead of, like, so in D&D, you just worry about, you know, your model, right? Your one model doing things. In wargaming, you simulate a battle between your army versus your opponents. There's a lot of ways to play. An incredible amount of ways to play. So yeah, we're just talking about the minutia of all the Warhammer. This is actually why I'm painting these guys, is for my Warhammer army, my Age of Sigmar, my first Age of Sigmar army. Yeah, it is. It's super fun. It really is. Like if you're into RTSs, real-time strategies, like what's the big one? StarCraft, or Command and Conquer, or Mount and Blade, I think is one of them. That's pretty big. Then you'd absolutely love it, because it's just a board game of an RTS basically. It's kind of how best to describe it in my opinion. Yeah, but it's super fun. If you like D&D, you definitely like it too. It's just it's less there's like no role play. You can role play. There's narrative. Oh, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the party, Carol. Is it Kirill? Kirill. Let me know if I butchered that name or not. But yeah, if you like D&D, you definitely like wargaming. It's kind of a similar vibe, you know. It does so it does involve dice. It's all so there's rules and stats just like your D&D character would have, right? But instead of like strength and dexterity and all those metrics, you have your ranged score, your weapon score, the amount of health each one of your models has, and you roll d6s depending on the game, you roll to see if you can hit, just like in D&D, and then you roll to see if you can wound, and then the other player rolls to see if their armor can save it. So there's just one more extra roll, and you just use D6s. So yeah. Yep, and 40k, yep. So I have one of each, at least one of each, if not two of each. They're all super fun. There's a ton of lore involved too. There's a ton of books, a ton of content, just like in D&D. There's a really rich world involved, which is super fun. So your army has a lot of background and whatnot, and it has a certain play style, and the play style generally coincides with the type of person that plays it too. So orcs are kind of these big bumbling buffoons, but they love smashing things and shooting things, so they get to shoot a lot of shots, but they're really bad at hitting, right? So the accuracy on their guns are low, but if they do hit, they're pretty strong, and it's really fun to shoot a bunch of shots. So generally, an orc player is a really fun guy, real lively, bit of a goofball himself, you know? Honestly, an orc player, in my opinion, is like a barbarian player for D&D. I hope I'm not insulting my orc players. Oh, Dan8NY, thanks for following me. Welcome to the party, buddy. I hope you're enjoying the stream, my dude. What's up, fat boy? Yeah, melee characters, so there's a bunch of different styles of melee. There's like glass cannon melee, right? So like your rogues. There's really strong defensive melee. There's like cleric melee, where they can heal themselves or just have high defense. So there's a bunch of different, like Black Templars, Grey Knights, Space Wolves. Orcs are a melee army. What else is a melee army? I'm better now that you're here, fat boy. Dude, your Farsight Enclave is exceptional, dude. Did a really good job. Those are some awesome models, brother. Army of the Empyrean have 6 armies and around 207 different models. Yep. Yeah, the Black Templars are the kind of the most religious space marines. So they are the most devout to the God Emperor of mankind. And they're a really good melee army, in my opinion. At least my friend plays them as a melee army. You can play most armies any way you want, but there's definitely some armies that lean into different archetypes a little bit more than others. But yeah, Black Templars are super sick. He painted them up like professional. He did a really good job. The really big suits with the insignia and always fight for the Emperor, right? You just explained like half of the Empyrean models. There is the really, really big suits. You might be thinking of Imperial Knights. But the Black Templar definitely do have all of that as well. But yeah. The Black Templar have like really cool candles and whatnot on their characters. Really devout iconography and whatnot. All right, well, I'll see you in a second. I think we're going to sell them into Warhammer, guys. Make them drink the punch. I think we can do it. Join us. Nice. Yeah, I own Grey Knights, Death Guard, Astra Militarum, Leagues of Votan, Tau, Raven Guard. I feel like I'm always forgetting one. I feel like I'm forgetting one. You get the picture. I like Warhammer. Except I just realized in my local game group that, not my game group, but the most popular LGS everyone goes to in my area, no one plays 40k 10th edition right now. They're not a big fan of it. They're all playing 30k and Age of Sigmar. Hence why I'm starting my first Age of Sigmar army. So, I mean, they're cool guys. They probably play their Warhammer models, but they say that the 10th edition is just a little too simple. But ooh, Johnny's in with a heart me. Welcome back, Johnny. Thank you so much. Salamanders, Necron, Tau, Imperial Knights, and Tunas, but I want to get Guard. Oh, I'm telling you, dude, my Imperial Guard is one of my favorite armies, and I did a World War II style paint job on them. So they look like American grunts, American GIs. It's one of my favorite armies to play. It take a lot of tactics to pull them off right, because they're like they're honestly a really bad shooting army. That's what they are, you know. Ooh, Stepblad with the follow. Thank you so much. Welcome to the party, brother. But yeah, if you're thinking about Guard, you definitely should get Guard. They're one of my favorite armies to play. My friends hate my tanks. I would be a Black Templar. I didn't know they were from this game. Now I'm really interested. Oh yeah, you definitely should check them out. They're really fun models too, and they're a Space Marine faction, meaning that they have incredible model range and support. The nice thing about playing Space Marines is they're always going to be good at the game, and they're always going to have a bunch of different tools. They have the most tools in the toolbox compared to any other factions. Just inherently built in because they're just Space Marines. Nothing wrong with Space Marines. I love Space Marines. Here on the first, I'm going to try and enter a raffle for $500 worth of... Oh, that'd be sick, dude. Ooh. Ooh. Allie with the roses, thank you so much. I want to learn how to play one day, but I do enjoy building the models. Johnny, I'll be honest, I think I've played like 2 or 3 matches this entire year. So, enjoying building and painting and that side of the hobby, in my opinion, is more important than playing. But eventually you got to get those models out. You got to do it for them, you know? You got to think about what the models want, man. You got to think about their purpose. You got to let them breathe. You got to let them fight. Go to battle. Come back victorious, you know? Learning how to paint is the funnest part, in my opinion. The nice thing about learning how to paint is you can just do it by yourself and figure it out and have fun, you know. Learning how to play definitely takes someone beating you up a couple games before you start getting the rhythm, you know. For the Emperor. I thought they were from a video game from the longest time with all the animations I've seen. Yeah, they technically are. Stepblad. Just finished up my Dark Oath brands Oathbound. Nice, dude. Did you post them? I'll check them out after the stream. Sounds sick. I haven't set an army yet. Well, what's the one? Whatever one is calling to you for being the coolest, that's the one you need to do. I tell everyone. So I started with Tau because I wanted to do Astra Militarum, but someone told me that Astra Militarum was really expensive, and I did Tau. I don't regret it. I really enjoy my Tau, but my heart was always in Astra Militarum, and I finally got my Astra Militarum, and I was like, why did I waste all these years? You know? If I win, I'm going to get 2 Lehman Russes, a Valkyrie command squad, and like 4 boxes of infantry. Dude, that'd be such a good start. Make 1 or 2 of those a tank commander, at least one of them a tank commander, because the ability when it dies, you can shoot. You can shoot all your guns one more time, and it is the funnest thing to do. It's the funnest thing in the game. If I have them on Reddit, just post them to the Slaves to Darkness subreddit. Yeah, I'll check them out, dude. Sweet. That's awesome. If I tried to get into this game, could you help me learn how to play? Absolutely. I'm not the best player, but I hold my own, you know? I definitely hold my own. And if I'm wrong about a rule, someone here will probably help you out more than I can. So yeah, absolutely. The game itself is very simple. Like, the core rules are very simple. The difficulty comes down into remembering all of your guys' rules, right? So like re-rolling ones on hits because they're 12 inches next to your one commander, you know? But you're running like 5 different commanders, so you got to remember all that, you know? Sometimes it's for range, sometimes it's for melee, sometimes it's this and that. So the difficulty really comes down into understanding your army and what it wants to do best. But with the core rules are pretty simple. There's a couple, the probably hardest part of the core rules is just figuring out the charge phase and the fight phase. But once you get that down, the whole game's pretty intuitive. Stuck between World Leaders, Death Guard, Tau, Imperial Fist, and Black Templars. Okay. I'll tell you this right now, I love playing my Death Guard. They're not simple, because you have to be really smart with them, because they're super slow, so you have to have your initial positioning really good. But their ability is super awesome. If enemy models get within range of you, they either take -1 to their toughness, that's just out of the gate, which makes them easier to hit with melee and ranged attacks, which is just super nice. But then they also get a pestilence kind of thing. And off the top of my head, they either reduce the enemy player's attacks or their saves. So you can weaken them in either their defense or their aggression. There's a couple different ones too, but those are the 2 main ones that I like the most. But yeah, I really like my Death Guard. I don't think you can go wrong with Death Guard. The models are really fun to paint too. The Tau, I do enjoy my Tau. The thing is, I just never felt like the people I was playing against enjoyed playing against my Tau, if that makes sense, you know? And thank you so much for the... Oh, Borf's in with some roses. Thank you so much, Borf. I appreciate that. Sorry. And Johnny sending in the fresh pop. Hey, Borf. It is you. I know. I'm sorry. I was still talking about my Death Guard. You know my love for my Death Guard. The Codex rules are hardest to remember. It is known. Where the hell is the dancing? I'm sorry. Here. The next one I'll definitely dance. Sorry. I was just locked in talking about my Death Guard. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Here. Ooh. Ooh. There you go, buddy. Is that better? Ooh. Ooh. I have Blight Lords, Death Shroud, and Mortarion. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, you have like 800 points already then, depending on the size of your crew. That you definitely should just full bore into Death Guard, man. You know what the hardest part about playing Death Guard is? Wiping up your opponent's tears. You know, if you know what I mean, dude. No, it's how fucking slow everything is. That's the hardest part. When you need to get across the map, but everything's a 5 and 6 inch move, it's pretty brutal. In my opinion, that's my serious answer and my joking answer. But Borf, you let me know what is the hardest part. I also have a Tau Combat Patrol. Well, there's nothing wrong with having a couple 1,000-point armies. A lot of people like doing 1,000 points, you know. I have probably like 2 or 3 of my armies are only at 1,000 points, and I'm gonna keep them there because they're just fun to play at 1,000. Oh, thanks, Jonathan. I appreciate that. Borf, tell me, what's the hardest part about playing Death Guard, dude? Or are you actually asking me? That is the hardest thing about playing Death Guard, is their movement is super slow. So you need to use your Deep Strike with your Death Shrouds and your Blight Lords just right, along with Mortarion. Because if you are too aggressive and they get killed, then that's like half of your army gone. Oh, thank you for the follow. And you definitely can paint your minis this well. I promise you that. If you watch me, look, I'm not doing anything crazy right now. I'm just blocking in colors. But if you keep watching, you'll see that I'm not talented. I just know techniques. You know? There's no talent here, pal. Just a lot of experience of messing my stuff up. So, but you definitely, anyone can paint like this. I promise you that. And I am on a mission to make sure anyone who wants to paint like this can paint like this, brother. Thank you, I appreciate that. If I do have talent, I would say it's on color theory and light. There's a lot better painters than me when it comes to brush control, and I'm a decent brush control guy, but it's something I'm still working on to this day. Just trying to be a little more accurate, a little more clean, a little more patient, you know? But I really appreciate it. Thank you, dude. I feel like half my stream is just me blocking in. That's really the hardest part. You want to know how to be good at painting? Just take your time blocking in. Make your blocking in really good. And also don't stop at just blocking in. Most of the fun is after that period. A lot of people block in and they go, oh, I'm done. The next stage is adding all the detail in. Adding the shadows, exaggerating your highlights. That's where the fun's at. It's embarrassing because I am actually a 3D environmental artist, but I can't paint minis. Well, that's the thing. I legitimately, I cannot do any kind of 3D art. I've tried sculpting. I tried clay back in the day in high school and in college. I can't do it. So I understand the sentiment. I'm creating communication units that let other units shoot through concealment. Ooh, that's badass, Johnny. That's really sick, dude. Borf, what do you mean you give up? Borf, what do you mean you give up? Don't give up. You're my best bud. You're my buddy. What did you say? What did you do? I danced for you, man. I danced for you. Borf, tell me your woes, brother. I tried to type the answer to that joke 100 different ways and it won't post. Oh, maybe the reason is because it was too good of a joke, man. They're trying to keep you down, brother. I am currently painting a mini Gargant, or a normal Gargant, I guess you could say, for my Age of Sigmar army. This is a proxy. So I got 3 of these little guys to do. Here's just one of them. This is a Mega Gargant, so you can kind of see the difference in scale here. But yeah, this is one of the Mega Gargants there. That's my Gatebreaker proxy So, and this is for Age of Sigmar. It's my first Age of Sigmar army, so I'm trying to get it done. My buddy's been asking to play for months now, and I keep being like, just a couple more weeks, man. Like I owe him money, you know? So I'm really trying to bust this out, and then the next army I'm going to paint is a Sylvaneth army. And a couple other really cool models that my friends over at Resin Reborn sent me. So we're going to do up those models too. A big giant bird phoenix thing. So, and if you're interested in doing a painting class with me, we're going to be painting this model here soon. And yeah. So if you're interested in joining a painting class, we're going to be painting this together on Zoom. And it's going to be like a lecture-based thing with Q&A and cameras and all that stuff. It's going to be super fun. We're going to try and do that probably in February is going to be the very first painting class. So, and the first painting class is going to be free. You just have to purchase the model. Was it me? You still owe me games too? I know, dude. I know. I'm working on it. I'm trying to do like 10,000 things at once. I do want to play some Warhammer with you. I promise you. Trying to clean up my house more, trying to get this situation set up, so I'm going to be remodeling this room soon. And all my free time is taken up by streaming and hanging out with you guys and trying to make cool content for you people, you know? But it is on the agenda, Borf. We are going to play some games together, man. One's a Space Marine with a Vox that, as long as it sees an enemy, any other ally unit can shoot it. Oh, that's sick, dude. Especially if you can get Lone Operative on that guy. But yeah, Borf, you are definitely a priority. I promise. I promise. Okay. Plus, you got to teach me how to play Warhammer for real, not just how I know how to play. I want you to teach me how the cool kids play Warhammer. You know, I try my best, but I don't know if I'm playing exactly correct. Because it's just me and my buddy that play together, you know. So there's always a chance that being in a vacuum of just me and him that we're doing something wrong, you know? I know. I apologize. You know, I really need to step up my game. Absolutely, 100%. Okay? And that it's honestly, it's on me. You've been great. I'm the problem, you know? It's not you, it's me. Literally. Literally. It's me. I'm the problem. We can do a Warhammer game whenever you want. Well, all right. Whenever I can. How about that? We'll figure out a date. Okay? We will. We will do this, but it'll probably have to be after the holidays. Forgive me. It's also just crazy that you live just down the road. Meeting strangers on the internet is it's supposed to be stranger danger, I thought. You're not a nefarious type, right? I'm not going to end up in a ditch somewhere. The other is Tau with 2 short range radios. That's sick. Yeah, what's cool with Tau is you do all the marker lights and stuff, man. If you like doing like radios and stuff, Astra Militarum has some of the coolest rules around radios because you have to give orders to your different regiment squads and your squadrons through officers, and they all have radios. You can take radios to increase the range that you can give out orders, which is really cool too. Which is never so. That's like getting Chuck E. Cheese tokens for a paycheck. Yeah. Honestly, with how money works nowadays, that's pretty much exactly true. I spend my Chuck E. Cheese credits on Warhammer, though, and food is mainly what I spend my dollars on. They're going to tie you up in their secret dungeon. That sounds like a good time. So long as I don't have to go to work in the morning. You know? I'm down. Just don't make me watch, like, I don't know, Battlestar Galactica or something. No, that's a good show. Don't make me watch Twilight. How about that? The Twilight series. I need to hire you to help me rewire your workshop. Possibly. I don't know if you need to hire me. I'll come and help you. Why don't you ask Tony? Tony's an electrician. You know? Tony should be already helping you, dude. That's messed up. Did he already tell you no? What a guy. Yeah, Tony should already be out there, dude. He's slipping. I feel like all I do is block in warm white. Warm whites and browns. Yeah, probably, dude. No, that's actually TikTok being like, are you AFK? Nope, I'm not. TikTok constantly thinks I'm AFK because I never do any of the features or anything. Too busy painting to be doing features. Come on. Trying to get a nice opacity here. What should we, I was thinking a dirty blonde for this guy. Do you guys concur? Dirty blonde? Haven't done dirty blonde yet. One. Oop, my internet took a dip. Sorry, guys. Oh, Adam's here. See? You can summon him at will. check it out, dude. Adam will hook you up, dude, and he'll make sure it works good. Get you squared up, brother. A loyal fan like you, loyal viewer, my best bud, my TikTok bro. He'll make sure you're good, dude. All right. Get out of Chicago, dude. My internet keeps taking a poop. I don't know why. You guys it's wanting to disconnect me. Block keys stuff, nice. Johnny, were you here for the Great Johnny view? Where there was like 8 viewers of Johnny's? You were here for that, weren't you? The Johnny Highlander Day. Nice. One of the OG Johnnies. There can still only be one. And right now, I think you are the one. I think you beat them all. You are the Johnny that outlasted them all. The true Highlander Johnny. I've got the touch. I've got the power. I appreciate you coming and hanging, Johnny. Mighty fine of you, Johnny. Mighty fine. Mighty fine of you, sir. What's up, Dirty Ore Dice? How you doing? Welcome in. How you doing, partner? Ooh, Borf with the rose. Does that make up for the last one? Thank you, Borf. Much appreciated, my dude. All donations are clearly going to a DSLR. Sorry. Sometimes when I paint, I can only think. I can't think and talk. I can only paint. But all donations are going to a new DSLR camera for the stream. So thank you. We get a little bit closer each time. Howdy, partner. Partner. Ooh, Worf. Worf sending 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 40. When will he stop? 51, 60. He's a mad lad. We're getting up to 80. He ain't stopping. Ooh, we just broke 100. 100 roses. 120. Oh, his thumb's hurting. He's going to quit soon. 150. Oh, my word. He ain't stopping. He ain't slowing down. 157 roses and 6. Let them cooks. Thanks, partner. Much appreciated, Borf. You're a good dude. Thank you so much, buddy. You've always done your part for the cause, dude. Always done your part. Thank you so much. It's that much closer. So kind, so generous. Thank you so much. This Block Keys Orion packs require shoulder extensions and I skipped them on accident. Oh, dude. I hate when I miss a step and you gotta like break it apart and put it back in or just suffer through it. I think building models and doing the first coat. What is that called? I'm talking about priming. I'm talking about what I'm doing right now. Why is that just eluding me right now? Am I losing my mind? Basing a model, right? Yeah. Base coat, yeah. Yeah, those are the two areas that if I could skip them, I would. But you can't. You just can't. You gotta suffer. You gotta get it done. You know? Really wanted to like 3D print like a bag because these guys have an ability called put them in the bag. That'd be funny to have them have bags. Thank you so much for getting me to 2,000 likes, guys. I appreciate that. Mighty kind of you. Used to, yeah, they don't anymore. Shoulders extended. Nice. You guys ever do that with the IKEA furniture? Where you tear it apart, have to tear it apart because you missed the one bolt or the one thing? And you try to think of a way to not tear it apart, but then you end up just tearing it apart. It's the worst. We've all been there. Let's make this guy a dirty blonde. That's what we're gonna do. Gosh, I love these Vallejo paints so much. Just go on so smooth, you know? Bro, have you read the free rules release for Trench Crusade? I haven't. I do want to get into Trench Crusade. That is on the docket. A lot of people have been like asking me to also do some Trench Crusade models. But I have not looked at the rules, mainly because I have too many projects as it is. And I feel like if I look at the rules, I want to play the game. So I've been avoiding it because I'm scared. I'm scared I'm going to like it, you know? That's the real problem. But yeah, I've heard they're insane. Sorry, did you mean these legally not named random V paints? Yeah. Well, these insert trademark name here paints are amazing. Yeah. I wonder if they sell them on TikTok. They should. Maybe saying things like, buy from TikTok shop. Maybe I will train it to think I'm always talking about TikTok shop. Yeah, check out the TikTok shop. Maybe I just say that a couple times an hour and my stream will blow up. You know what I'm saying? Trick the algorithm. Resident Reborn set up his TikTok shop, or he is in the process of setting it up from my last discussion with him, which is really cool. Once he does that, then I can promote all I want, I believe. My TikTok. Let's see. That's pretty artsy, man. It's pretty artsy, dude. Yeah, Adam, have you set up the TikTok shop yet, like we talked about? Or is that still in the process? I don't know. I'm sure there's a bunch of hoops you got to jump through, knowing how TikTok is. Still there, Adam? Can you guys hear me still? Am I still live? It's saying that I'm having connection issues. Okay, cool. Yeah, Adam said he was going to set up a TikTok shop for RR, Resident Reborn. Should be sweet. Sweet. We're just about done blocking in this guy here. We'll move on to the next one. Trying to speed through these guys. So I want to paint the big phoenix that Resin Reborn sent me. So it looks super fun. Yeah, I'm really excited about doing this paint class here soon. I need to get serious about getting some stuff out there. I was thinking about doing some advertising on TikTok, promoting it through TikTok and a couple other places. But yeah, it should be really fun. Bro, I opened the hand sprue pack and my Orion packs is missing his RAM. Dude, there's nothing worse. Are you gonna message the manufacturer and see if they can't send it out to you? They'll send you it. I once had to do that. Like I bought I think a combat patrol is what it was, or something like it, and it was missing an entire vehicle, and they ended up sending me a vehicle and a little sorry gift, which was pretty cool. I can't steal it from another kit. Yeah, hopefully you can. But usually the manufacturer's pretty cool. If you're like, hey, I'm missing an entire thing, they'll send it out to you with an apology. Oh, thank you for following. What's up, Borpheus? Oh, it's you, Borf. Follow me on TikTok there, bud? Or on the other platform that shall not be named because of TikTok. Or is that a whole nother Borpheus? Because that'd be crazy. Yeah, I don't blame you. Now you can enjoy it in a whole new medium. Horizontally. I plan to repaint any duplicate again to an OC. Nice. That's smart. TikTok won't let me post because I said, oh, really? Is that a bad word for him, dude? Is that no-no? What are you doing, hot stuff? Nothing? I had a burrito for lunch that was the size of my head. But yeah, I could eat. Are you hungry? Yeah, their guidelines is pretty strict on here. I gotta be pretty mindful. The problem is like my audience just refuses to grow on the other platforms, you know? Which is alright. Is what it is. So this basing isn't. This cord needs to go somewhere else. It is always hitting me. I need to fix this right now. You had me at meat tornado, dude. I know that's such a good quote. they had a guy die from was it a burrito or a burger? I don't much go for ethnic food. Nothing like a good Ron Swanson. I feel like Ron Swanson is like every dude's inner spirit. For sure, for sure. Ron Swanson is me. I am a Ron Swansian. I made a chair. I entered that chair and they felt it warranted an award. So I finished my last project, time to start a new one. What should I start? Oof. Let's see. Do you have an Age of Sigmar army? It's a good project, right? You do one of those. Do you have a Warhammer 30k army? So far I've gotten G1 Optimus, IDW Optimus, and 1 Orion Pax. Man, that's quite the collection, dude. It sounds fun. They sound super fun to do. I haven't done any... I haven't done any of those. I do have a new Karn I go at. I also have my D&D pirate ships, my Chocobo Knights, or some Praetors. Is it Praetors? Yeah, Praetors. I guess it's dealer's choice, brother. What are you feeling like doing? What do you want to paint? That's a better question. What's singing to you? What's calling to you, project-wise? You know? They're like $5 snap fit model action figures. Still really rad. If anything, that's awesome. I really don't understand why GW has to charge $60 for 5 Space Marines. That's wild to me. It always has been, always will be. think it's highway robbery. Would love to do $5 models. I would have gotten so many people into Warhammer, but every time I say it, they're like, isn't that super expensive? And I'm like, yeah, kind of, yeah, but not like that bad. Like, it's worth it. And they're like, nah, I'm good. I don't need another vice. I'm like, okay, I get it. Yeah, they do. They charge so much. Like the box art, but it's also, they say like R&D, and then I think a lot of it is GW uses the models to pay for everything else, like video game development and book deals, and a lot of things come out of the model's budget. So by the end of it, you're not even really paying for just the model, you're paying for the entire franchise. And I don't know. I would rather they had cheaper models and made it more ubiquitous, you know, more financially easier entry, and they would have way more cash flow. That's just like my opinion, man. Should go to a free-to-play model. Just buy skins for your models, skin packs, DLCs. That'd be sick. Okay, that's based enough. We'll do oil paints with that guy. Someone's blocked in. I could paint my 1-to-1 Patty Fig that... Did he really send you that? Because that'd be hilarious. All it would be is just one big bicep with a beard, right? That's what my model is. No, it really is, dude. The box is so expensive. Like, you can't tell me after they make the molds that they can't just, you know, and sell that model for like 30 bucks, 20 bucks, you know? Yeah, exactly. And they're not like coming out with like a box a week, like a new model a week. Yeah, exactly. Like, you're paying for R&D to a degree. You're paying for the model designer, you're paying for the box art, you're paying for marketing, and I think you're paying for the book deals, you're paying for the video game deals, right? But the model itself, that shouldn't be like 40% of the cost. I feel like that's really what it is, right? 50, 60% of the cost just goes to like advertising and stuff, you know? Let's do this guy next. We're gonna do him as an old man. He has a big white beard. Yeah, yeah. I don't know, but you guys know what I'm saying, right? Like, if they just made the models cheaper, everything else would be cheaper. Like, it'd be a... People have all heard about D&D, because D&D, you just buy the book. Or not even... You don't even have to buy the book. One person has to buy the book. But that whole franchise is flourishing because it has a low barrier of entry for price, you know? You're not sitting there spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars just to like be able to start, you know? He doesn't do, I don't think he does custom modeling, although Adam can just answer you right now. If there's a 3D print that he doesn't have, I believe he'll get it for you. I believe. Yep. But in terms of like actually like designing the print, I don't think that's up. I'm wondering when AI, you can ask AI to make an STL for you. I feel like that's coming pretty soon. I feel like that's coming faster than you think. Where you can just be like, hey, AI, make me an STL of X, Y, or Z, you know? What should be cheaper? What's up, Stiglet? Can you already do that? That's crazy. What should be cheaper? Are you talking, we were talking about Warhammer models. Like they just arguably should be cheaper. I feel like a lot of the price in Warhammer is going to marketing and auxiliary prices and auxiliary items that isn't actually, like they're not doing any favors to their fans, you know? Like there's been so many people that I'm like, I want to do Warhammer. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, wait, isn't it expensive? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, never mind. I'm like, oh, almost had him, you know? Well, that's just like my opinion. Yeah, it's in Mortarion being like 120 bucks for one model. Like, come on. We both know stamping plastic can't possibly cost that much. And I get that there's like R&D and then the artist needs to get paid and whatnot, but we all know that's not where our money's going. Our money is going to pay for advertisement and book deals and this and that, which is all fine and dandy. I'm just saying like Space Marines, a box of 5 Space Marines shouldn't cost 40, 50, 60 bucks or whatever it is, you know? Like you're just hurting the bar of entry. There's been so many people who are like, yeah, I'd like to get into it, but it's too expensive and I just can't afford it. So I just look at it. I feel like that's a shame. But that's also why like a lot of 3D printing is now stealing a bunch of their profits too, and then they get mad at that, and I'm just like, well, people wouldn't steal it if it was more affordable. So it is what it is. Independent stores don't, exactly, they don't. They're like, they have to, they basically are almost at cost, if not exactly at cost. And 500 pounds if you want to play, yeah. Well, and I like my Astra Militarum army I bought as an army lot, but I did all the calculations for if I was to buy them in boxes, and we're talking like, we're legit talking probably $1,300-$1,400 in plastic for just my Astra Militarum. It's wild. Yeah. And it's an awesome model. It's an amazing model, and everyone wants a Mortarion to paint. But like, he only costs 600 or 300, I think he's like 350 points in your army, right? So like a sixth of a total army, and you're spending 100 some odd change for one model. It's just hard to bite that kind of bullet. I think that's why 3D printing is becoming so popular. And proxying, like this is a whole proxy army, because if I wanted to do a Sons of Bahamut army, it would cost me $700. I'd have to buy 3 boxes, and they're $200 each, about $200 each. Like, that's just crazy to me. That's not right. That's not okay. It's premium, baby. You know? And I understand their models are the best. Ooh. Dwarf. Oh, nope, that's Kill Switch Clem. Welcome in. Thank you for the rose. How you doing, buddy? Welcome back. The ones that really get me are the like small gem. Yeah, one model, like Plague Marine Champion, $40, and it's literally like 10 points. I don't know. And I have a bunch of armies, and I really like playing a bunch of different armies, but for a lot of people that don't have a 3D printer or don't have access to the funds to be able to do that, I feel like they are, you know, if they don't like their army, they feel stuck. I felt that way with my Tau at one point. Like at the beginning of 10th edition, I really didn't want to play him because that's the only army I had to play, and all my friends were really sick of getting shot to shit in 9th edition, you know? Yeah, the Warsong Revenant, exactly, $65. That's wild. Oh, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the party, dude. 2 figs, half your army. Lord of Scrolls, 500 points. Angron, yeah. $600. That's wild. Yeah, Sons of Behemoth is 3 models, arguably 4 models. And if you were to buy just 4 big boys, it's $700. Like, what? That's insane. That's insanity. That's why I promote Adam so much, Resin Reborn. Because you can actually make an army that's like affordable, you know? And that's also really cool. Like some of the 3D models he has are some of the coolest. Like the models from my personal favorite is all of Clay Beast Creation stuff. Awesome. They're really sick. And its quality is super high, you know? Yeah, it is wild. It shouldn't be that much. Like when you go to a game store, right? It's like probably one shelf, right? One 8-foot by 10-foot stretch is probably like 10 grand in just kits. Like, that's crazy. It's crazy. Then GW cried when people scan and print their models. Absolutely. They get so mad. They shouldn't. People wouldn't do that. I was really hoping that 3D printing would make them kind of open their eyes and being like, you know, we really need to look at this pricing model thing and revisit some of this stuff. Because it's just hurting new players. It's hurting longtime fans, you know? If your longtime fan base can't afford your models, there's a problem. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't know. They get so mad yet are currently building new, bigger, more state-of-the-art warehouse factory. Yeah, they're always saying like, oh yeah, we won't have any model shortages now. Like, I don't understand, man. Like, there's a lot. It's hard to get models sometimes. You know, and I'm also like, you know, I don't exactly know their process. Like, maybe I'm watering this down. But I feel like they should have at least enough profit from us to be able to upscale and then give us, you know, price decreases based off of the scaling, right? Like that's the whole idea of a business is you're like Tesla came out with the Model S's that were really kind of high-end sports cars, but their idea was with that money they'll build more factories and then lower the barrier of cost. Right? But I just feel like maybe that idea never wasn't too popular. I don't know. But I mean, that's not to say, like, don't get me wrong, I love GW. If we are propping up all of their other ventures in terms of like movies, TV, and video games, then I'm all about it. I'm just saying that if there ever becomes a point where they can lower the barrier of entry or even just like their standard models to something more reasonable, because I would like to do some standard models every now and then. I just don't have the financial capacity to be able to buy the OG models, the real models, you know. Just watching to listen and learn. For sure, dude. I appreciate you coming and hanging out, and thank you again for the gift, my guy. So production was limited. They better have Henry Cavill on that Amazon series if it goes through. I heard that there was some talk, like Henry Cavill was mad that they were trying to change the original narrative, and Henry Cavill's like nerd Jesus. So I really respect that he's like, no, you have to do it to Warhammer. I'm not doing it. So I highly respect it, but he's not going to stick around if they ruin Warhammer. He's going to dip. So I don't know if Amazon, I've heard back and forth whether he's in or he's out. So who knows? Now, however, I think it's just a marketing ploy. I think that as well. Back in the day, I understand like, hey, we're a small company and we can only like make 150 models, you know, and production of the molds is expensive, you know, like all of that is fair arguments for like a brand new company starting, right? Like right now, Trench Crusade started and they're already in production to creating models. They were just a 3D printed army, 3D printed game. But they're already like, we're moving towards producing models for everyone, you know, which is rad. But we'll see what their early prices. I can totally understand being more pricey, but there definitely comes a time where you're like, hey, can you make this a little easier to afford? If Henry walks, it means the series is probably going to stink. It's true. If he walks, it's for good reason, you know. And I don't know a single person that doesn't want him to star in it, you know. I think he did an amazing rendition of The Witcher. Amazing, amazing, amazing Witcher, right? It's me and my ladies, like one of our favorite shows. And it's so good because he was true to the storyline and the character. So I'm really hoping that same Henry Cavillness, and he's a Custodes player. He knows the storyline very well. You know, he's been playing since he was 12 years old, so you know he cares more about that true fan base than profit or whatever Amazon wants to get out of it. So here's to hoping. Greed is a terrible thing, man. Yep, but we do keep buying. And you know, as like a business, you know, I don't know everything about what's going on over there, you know. Maybe they're just at their wits' end, they're struggling, who knows. Especially now with like the changing economy and whatnot, inflation and all that jazz, production costs. I could just be talking out my ass right now. Or maybe they are trying their best to make it more affordable for us. Who knows? You know? That Napoleon Dynamite dude just done a big documentary on Warhammer, didn't he? I don't know. Did he? I don't think I've checked it out. I feel like Warhammer has always been like it's just been like kind of a secret club, it feels like, you know? Like you're either in and you know, or you might have heard about it, but for the most part, most of the games, really, the problem is a lot of the games, like StarCraft 2 originally was a Games Workshop game, and they paid Blizzard to make it, but right when they were about to release, they backed out of the deal. So Blizzard just changed the names and released it as StarCraft. If they hadn't have done that, I think Warhammer would have been a definite household name, you know? What's that, baby? Huh? Measuring tape?
Yes, we do.
There's one in my backpack, but it's for wargaming. It's like a 10-foot tape. In my backpack. Yeah. Huh? You won't be on screen, my dear. Now, they posted record profits at some point. It's like, don't you have enough profits? Well, I want them to have profits. I love the company. I love what they make. I just think that a little bit of a kickback is required. You know? Again, lowering the prices, though, would piss a lot of people off, especially people who just spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And you can't really, like, reimburse all the shops that have just bought all of their stuff, too. I think it really has to come down to, like, new releases. They just have to release new boxes and new items, and on release have them be more affordable is, like, the only way to really kind of tone back some of these costs. I don't know. Anyways, enough about GW prices. I think we can all sit here and hate on it a little bit. I think we all have a bad taste in our mouth with the amount of money we've spent on wargaming. It's just a little sad is all I'm saying. It ain't right. Oofda. I mean, that's a lot, especially for like a small. I don't imagine there's more than 100, 200, 300 people working for them, like in the development stage. If you're talking like factories, you know, who knows? But I'm sure they're manufacturing super cheap. So I guess it being in UK has a lot to answer for, I guess, from the UK. Sorry. You should be. You should be. No, I don't know. Haven't they been saying for years that they want to make a US based like factory and factory and warehouse and whatnot to help a little bit out here? I don't know. Who knows? I just want more Warhammer models, okay? Call me crazy. That's all I want. Praise the Emperor. I want every Greater Redeemer in Primarch. Ah, dude. How cool would it be to just have a Primarch army? You know? Sorry for the sound. Here, I'll mute for a second. Dude, playing Mortarion for the first time was like just such a moment for me. I don't know. I feel like there also should be like way more releases. You know, like As a company, you'd think you'd want to like expand and put more stuff out there as much as you can, as fast as you can. Like the Leagues of Votann still only have like 2 different battle lines and like 3 elites and two different vehicles. Like I just feel like it's not enough to like really flesh out a interesting, well balanced army. I really like them. I love the idea of them. I just have a really hard time. I don't understand. Same with the Grey Knights. The Grey Knights have been out forever, and there's like 6 different models, and they're all super outdated. Like I love my Grey Knights, but it's basically I run Purifiers and I run Paladins, right? And a couple of those big boys, the exoskeleton boys, you know. Like I want to see more. Like expand a little bit on the Grey Knights, please. Like they've been around forever. Give me some options. Want options, man. I know, right? Yeah, if you just play Ultramarines, you just get like something new every year. But then like Grey Knights are over here just like, maybe next year. Maybe next year. Just keep holding true, brothers. We'll have something next year, right? I don't want them to release something that's actually new out the books that hasn't gotten a model yet, a whole new faction. They just did that with Leagues of Votann though, right? What was it, like a year or 2 ago? Like, and I want them to like a fully fledged faction. Like they released Leagues of Votann, and I feel like there just really isn't much there. There isn't much meat on the bones. Even that faction still. Like the only thing more aggravating to a Grey Knights player is seeing them release a whole new faction with like 8 new models, and you're like, excuse me, we would be happy with 1, or even just an updated model range for our models, please. Damn, no copies, dude. Brutal. Yeah, but Votann. The Votann are really cool. I mean, they're cool. I printed off about 1,000 points of them, and they're really cool looking. But the problem is I just don't know how to play them. They're like, they changed their playstyle with their codex that came out. And instead of having their like angry dice, they're like vengeance dice. It's kind of the same but different. I don't know. I played them once and I was like, I don't understand this army. So I kind of just put them on the shelf. I am going to revisit them again. It was about 1,200 points, I think, is what I played them at. Like, I didn't really understand them. They're not a shooting army, but they're also not a melee army. They're more like a turn 3, 4, and 5 army. So you just try your best to live until then, I think, is how you truly play them. At least that's what it kind of felt like. It's like I was super maybe not super aggressive, but I was aggressive with the wrong units, if that makes sense. And so by the time I got to like round 3, my good units that I was too aggressive with were all dead. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I still have these units, but those units ended up being just, I don't want to say useless, but basically useless, even though they cost a ton of points. And the models are so cool. I love the idea. And the Votann lore is dope. They're humans that have cloned themselves into oblivion. It's sweet. They're space dwarves, dude. The man, the myth, the legend, K-Dog. I know you're talking about yourself. What's up, homie? How you doing, buddy? Welcome in. Currently doing my little mini Gargants. We finally finished up. I think you were here when I started these guys the other day. But yeah, we are moving on. Finally. Heck yeah, dude. Yeah, squat the Grey Knights, dude. We need to get some Grey Knight love around here. And if you are thinking about starting an army, let me just put in my 2 cents. I think the Grey Knights are the funnest army to play. Their Gate of Affinity ability, where they can pick up models after your opponent's turn, is so much fun. You're just like, I don't want to be in this place anymore. You just pick them up and deep strike them again on your turn. Like, come on, dude. Like, the OBSEC is so good. You can just drop in. You can drop all of them into, like, one spot, the worst spot for your opponent. So much fun. You're like, yeah, you know how you like that? Now you don't get that. Lore-wise, there's so much more. Then the Primarchs, which I get, are dead. But, you know, Magic, yeah. I don't even know how to play. I just build and paint. Dude, building and painting is most of the hobby. So you're doing like 90% of it. I think playing it is like... There's people that only play. They don't... I have my one buddy who despises painting and building, so he pays his friends to do it. I tell him, dude, missed opportunity. He's like, I hate it. I just want to play the game. He's one of those guys, you know? Love of the game, you know? And this hobby attracts all types of people, you know? So, if you don't want to play and you just want to have cool models, I mean, hell, get after it, dude. Can I please ask you a question about painting minis? I need your help. I would absolutely love to help you. What's your question, and how may I direct you? Welcome to Patty Paints Minis Hotline. I've done it on and off since the 90s, but I've never had anyone to play with, so I don't have armies. Well, if you ever want to play, we could do a tabletop simulator. I've never done it on Tabletop Sim, but it sounds like fun. I know a lot of people play on Tabletop Sim. Is it Ian Don? Ian Don? So I play D&D and some of the characters have lace on them. How should I paint the lace and keep the skin color underneath? Okay, it's a really good question. What you're going to do is you're going to paint the skin the exact way you paint all of the other skin, right? And you get it to that stage. You just paint over the lace like it's normal, like normal skin, right? The only thing you're going to do is in that little section, you're just going to add a little bit more white, more warm white in that section, okay? Just a little more white, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to dry brush the lace. So you'll dry brush the lace with whatever color lace you want to do, whether it's, if you're doing white lace, I think you said white lace, right? Maybe I'm just thinking of white lace. Let's see. So whatever color of lace you're going to do, add that to your flesh tone. So if you're going to do black lace, red lace, honestly red lace would be probably the easiest, or pink. or green, just add a hint of that color to your skin tone. So like for instance, imagine, let's see if I can paint fake lace real quick. So imagine this right here is the lace, right? You see I have a little bit of skin tone there. Let's call this black lace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of my skin tone here, if it'll let me. Right, so this would be my skin tone here, right? We'll call that my skin tone. I'm going to repaint this anyways, so it doesn't matter. So imagine this little bit of cloth here. Let me add a little bit of warmth to it, right, to make it seem more skin tony. Add a little bit of brown here, a little bit, just a hair. That's too much. And then let me hit it with the highlight. So yeah, what color of lace are you doing? And I'll try and demonstrate that right now. Black lace, okay. Okay, so if that's my skin tone right there, let me get that to dry real quick. What I'll do is I'll add kind of almost a grayish, maybe not exactly black, but I'll grab a little bit of gray here, and I'll grab my flesh tone, right, and I'll add it to my gray, right, and make kind of a grayish flesh tone, and then I'll just go over that like so. So it would look better if I was doing this on an actual like fleshy piece. But I would highlight with a very grayish kind of tone like this here, and then add, you almost want to do like a reverse highlight with your lace, and then you'll texture it like this. So on all the raised edges, you'll dry brush with not exactly black, but close to black, right? Is that kind of coming through as lace? Let's see, my black's kind of dried in my wet palette. Let me try and grab some more. So the very tips of it is going to be where that lace is going to be the most prominent. And then I would work it down. So I would paint the flesh, and then I would start taking the gradient of it down and start doing kind of a darkish gray in the recesses here, just a little bit, right? But I still want those like warm, translucent tones to come through. So I don't know if you can kind of see that super well because of the lighting there. But you're basically going to treat it like, if this is my skin tone here, you want to paint your skin tone to almost look like this portion, right? But yeah, so you're gonna leave the skin tone pretty much the same at the bottom. Just when you're painting in that skin tone, you're gonna add a little bit of black in. So you're gonna follow the same exact steps. So like if I'm doing this like richish brownish red, which is like right here on my color palette, let me try and grab some up. It's kind of drying. If it'll let me. I'll grab some of that, mix it with a little bit of that. Let's get this going here. There we go. Okay, so if this is my, I'll do it on the other side of the foot. If this is my normal shadow skin tone, see that color? I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna add just an iota of black to it, right? And that'll be now my new shadow. My new shadow. Do you see that? Let me try and get it to not shine. Try and get it to focus for you. So that would be my new shadow. And then I would do the same thing. Like if this is my mid-tone, which would be this color here, right? I'll put that next to the original, right? If that's my mid-tone, I'll add a little bit of black to that as well, just a hair. And that is going to be my new mid-tone for my lace, right? Which that will look something like that, right? And then as you get more and closer to the peak of the lace, that's when you'll start doing kind of like a little lacy texture or dry brushing with a dark gray, even with a little bit of your skin tone mixed in. And then I would do little, like right on the very edges of the lace, I would do kind of a crosshatch with the black and then a little bit of gray and then even a little touch of your mid-tone for your flesh tone. So I hope that helps. That was a really fun question. I've never actually painted lace before. Not to like disqualify my thoughts, but if I were to paint lace, that's how I would do it. So I hope that helps. Feel free to ask questions, or even if you check out my bio, there's a little thing that starts with a P. I can't say on live because TikTok gets mad. But if you join it, you can send me DMs on there of your paintings, and I can help you further that way. Yeah, no problem, dude. Love helping. And it's a challenge. So if you can pull it off, it's very impressive. You're gonna be going back and forth a lot too, so take your time. But yeah, I would treat it as a reverse highlight, and I would dry brush the lace on. And also make sure you're glazing. Make sure you're really working with watered down paints and go slow. Oh, so slow. And also pull up a couple photo references as well. What brushes do you use? I get stuck so generally I just do really cheap synthetic. This is actually my first like good brush. This is a Kolinsky Sable. And I've been just kind of having fun with it. It's a good brush. I'm so used to my crappy synthetic ones though, that I'm kind of actually like learning how to use a good brush. So it's almost like counterintuitive. I've used crappy, cheap, buy a dozen for $5 brushes for so long that it's antithetical to how I paint. But yeah, using a Kolinsky, and there's a bunch of different brands, but this is real hair. The one thing I don't like about synthetic brushes is they don't hold their points for very long. They start to bend, which isn't a bad thing. I have a couple of those that I specifically use to paint like eyes and stuff, because that little like bend at the end is pretty nice for very specific things, like when I'm trying to press paint into a spot. So, but then there's other times I just want a really nice fine tip. Fine tip is just way better for getting nice clean lines when you're doing, like for instance, like right here I'm doing this rope against this wooden shield, so having a sharp tip on that is really helpful to get a nice clean line between the two. But really my biggest tip is just get a fine tip fat belly brush. You don't want to be using a real small brush. I know it's like that you're painting a mini and you think mini brushes, but no, don't do that. Because what you'll find is if you're using a really small, tiny brush, your paint constantly dries on your tip, so it's hard to get a nice paint consistency, like a nice paint flow from the tip to the model. So yeah, That's my biggest tip. Doesn't matter the price of your brush. It just matters that it's a nice fat-bodied, sharp tip. I get so confused with a good brush because it doesn't split. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm literally like learning how to use this one because it's actually really light, which is weird. Not like not that it's light. Like the brush feels the same weight, but like if that makes any sense, it feels light as it goes on. Like the actual feeling of painting it is light. I know that doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel heavy. It feels really light and clean and airy to paint, which is just interesting. It's a whole new world over here. I generally paint with like the cheapest thing you can find, so. What's your standpoint in paints? I only use Citadel because I'm used to them, but Vallejo looks nice. Okay, I only use contrast paints and shades from Citadel. I refuse to buy any more Citadel paints that are layer or base paints. You love their technical paints, but their actual paints are, I don't like the bottle. I don't like the consistency. They don't maintain over long term. But boy, the game color from Vallejo is just out of this world good. I love painting with Vallejo, and I've been painting with Vallejo for a very long time, and they never disappoint. They're always fantastic. So that's my take on paints. I do love Citadel, don't get me wrong. Citadel has some amazing paints, but I only use their contrast and their shades and their technicals. I've bought so many paint bottles from them that have just, I mean, they can be a year old, six months old, but I'll open it up and the bottle's completely dry, or it's just cakey, or I have to mix it for hours to get it back to where it needs to be. And that's no fun. Is it difficult to match colors? So with matching colors for me is I mix my colors most of the time. You can match them pretty well. I'm sure there's a guide you can find online to match your colors from one to another. And Vallejo has a pretty large range. Their game color range is pretty massive. I'm almost positive you can find a 1-to-1. But if you paint from the bottle and you don't mix your colors, it's really hard to get it back to exactly what you like. So I would recommend, if you're painting something with the paint that you use and you've always used for that, I would continue doing that. Don't break something that's working, you know? But on your next project, definitely think about trying out Vallejo, or just trying out like Vallejo's blacks and browns and whites are just so awesome. They just go on so nice. Like you're seeing what I'm doing here. This is just all Vallejo paints, and they've been in my wet palette for weeks, and I just add a little bit here and there. They last forever in a wet palette. You can rehydrate them really well. They flow really nice. They have really good opacity. They feel good, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's definitely something you need to take into account. What I would do is I would get a test model and try and match the paint the best you can. Maybe look up one of those. I'm sure there's a little infographic you can find, or even just asking on Reddit. Paint matching, like, hey guys, have you guys matched this paint with this or that? If I didn't use Vallejo, I'd probably use Pro Acryl or Too Thin Coats. I've heard really good things about those, especially Pro Acryl. The problem with Pro Acryl is they don't really have a large paint range. So if you like mixing paints, like mixing the colors you want, Pro Acryl is fantastic. The new Fanatic range from Army Painters, I heard, is insane as well. They redid their whole formula. So I want those Grim Dark paints and a test model, but cost, yeah. Yeah. Pro Acryl, you get a little more bang for your buck. The paint bottle's a little larger than the normal paint bottles, so they do cost more, but you do get, I think they're 22 millimeters, whereas most paint bottles I think are 18 or something. So, but that's just my 2 cents on paint. Of course, if you like Citadel, use Citadel. I love Citadel for their contrast paints. I really can't paint without contrast paints anymore. They're just an amazing tool. I do a lot of my basing in just warm white so I can hit it later with my contrast paints. I also like using them as a shade. I actually don't really use Vallejo or any kind of shade products. I generally use my oil paints for washes, or I do my contrast paints for washes as well. So, and I feel like I get really good effects, and they're really easy. I generally don't like how shades go on the model. They're too opaque in places I don't want them to be, and they're too thin in places I don't want them to be, if that makes sense. So, oh sweet, thanks Adam. Yeah, I know that there's resources out there to paint match, because all of them want you to buy their paints. So they're going to show you how to, just like when you go to trade in a car. You know, they're trying to sell you on the new, or trade in your phone, right, from a different carrier. They're going to go out of their way to help you get what you want. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. I really like Vallejo paints for all of my highlights, my brushing, my brush painting, for creating blends and whatnot. I always use my contrast paints for blends, wet blending. Just because basically what contrast paints are, or speed paints, or whatever you want to call them, is they're just acrylic paint with a ton of medium in it. So glazing medium, I think is what it's called. But yeah, that's all it really is. So if you wanted to, you can make your own speed paints or contrast paints with Vallejo. And I know that Vallejo has a really nice range that I haven't tried yet. It's called their Express Paint range, which eventually, once I have money, I'm going to try out, so I'll let you know. Do you spray varnish your models? I do and I don't. So generally, I do varnish them, but very strategically. So I'll do a matte varnish, just a real light one on all of it. But really what I use varnishes for is turning things glossy. So like ice or glow effects, or if I want something to look shiny, like if it's like a boil for my Death Guard, I'll use varnish on it. If I want them to look very like meaningfully glossy, I usually will do a high gloss varnish, and I just use I think I have an Army Painter bottle that I use for that. That's just called high gloss medium, and I'll airbrush that in. But yeah, I generally don't. It depends. Like if I'm going to be picking up the model a lot, like if I'm playing with that model a lot, I'll varnish it just because my fingertips are apparently excrete acid, and I destroy things very easily. So if that's like something that I'm worried about, then I'll varnish it. I'll also varnish models generally when I send them out, or I don't know where they're going or how they're going to be treated. I generally varnish them. That being said, I didn't varnish those, by the way, Adam. Paint rack? I'll have to check that out. Sounds dope. I didn't varnish those models I sent you. I meant to. I kind of forgot. But also, I didn't think you'd be like playing them, but now that I'm thinking about it, they're probably going to be in the hands of a lot of different people a lot. So you might want to get them varnished with a whatever product you'd like to use. It's up to you. I would do either satin or ultra matte is how I would varnish it. I meant to. I'm sorry. I forgot. Cool. Yep, sorry. I meant to. I'll be better, by the way. Those paintings I'm not like super proud of. I tried. I tried my best. But the next ones you send out will be, or the next ones I send back to you will be top tier, top tier, top tier. What varnish keeps the model's color without dulling it or brightening it? That's going to be a, that's going to be an ultra matte. So the smoothness of a model makes it glossy, right? So like, I'm going to have to spray matte on this beard because it shows as glossy. Do you see how it's like reflecting light right there? So when I hit matte varnish on that, it'll turn that to just like a nice dull, because I don't want that to be shiny. But like, for instance, this guy's axe, this big boy's axe here, I wanted this to be super glossy because I wanted it to look like ice. So I intentionally hit that with a ton of gloss varnish. So generally ultra matte is what I recommend for all, or satin. So like, if you like Citadel Minotaurum varnish is really good. It's kind of like a satiny, it's not shiny, but it's not dull either. But yeah, acrylic matte is, yeah, really good stuff too. Anyways, I am gonna have to stop streaming here because it's getting a little late over here. And I need to go hang out with my lady. I haven't hung out with her all day. So we're just going to be blocking in. We're going to finish blocking in this guy tomorrow, and then we'll block in this last guy. And aside from that, we just have to do all these different belts and pants, and those shouldn't take too long either. Then we'll do a quick oil wash on them. We'll highlight them pretty quick, and then we'll do some basing. Hopefully we'll be basing this weekend, I think. So thanks for hanging out with me, and I hope you guys enjoy hobbying. And if you want to support me in other ways, check out my bio. But anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Love you, bye. Love you, bye. Love you, bye. Love you, bye.